Hi, and welcome to Dustin's Kaleidoscope. I'm Dustin Dumas. On this show, we explore the stories behind leadership and transformation, how people lead, grow, and create impact through truth and storytelling. We have officially crossed the halfway point of the year, and whether that realization fills you with motivation or fills you with dread, I want you to know you're not alone. This episode is a pause, a check-in, not to go line by line through every goal, but to talk about something deeper, the work behind the work. That's the real stuff. The early mornings, the emotional labor, the creative wrestling, the self-doubt, the quiet discipline that no one sees, but that fuels everything worth doing. So today's not just about reflection, it's a reset, a reminder that you can begin again right now. Not tomorrow, not next quarter, now. There's this pressure that creeps in around July, and suddenly the voices in your head get louder and louder, saying things such as, I should be further along. I haven't done enough. It's too late to start now. But here's the solid truth. It's not too late. You still have 170 plus days in the year. That's 170 plus chances to show up, take one step, and breathe life back into your goals. And maybe you have been working steadily, but quietly. Maybe you have been laying a foundation that no one sees. That work is totally valid and it absolutely counts. Even when it doesn't look like progress, even when no one claps, even when no one sees it. The middle of the year is not the end of the story. It's not about shaming. It's about alignment. It's about asking, where am I going and what do I want to see the second half of this year? Every time I post an episode, give a talk, or speak on a panel, people see the end result. What they don't see is me making notes and revising outlines, practicing, the multiple emails sent, the hours spent in editing software, the last minute changes due to circumstances outside my control. That's the work behind the work. And if you've been trying to build anything this year, whether it's a business, a podcast, a healthier lifestyle, you've probably experienced that too. Let me give you a personal example. There was one time when I almost didn't release an episode. I had it ready, technically, but something about it just didn't sit right with me. I recorded it again late at night, not because it wasn't good enough, but because it didn't feel honest and authentic. That's the hidden part, the private decisions that shape public work. And I know many of you have your own version of this. You're working, you're building, you're recommitting in quiet ways every single day. So let me ask you, what have you been working on that nobody sees? I can answer that for myself. I've been working on another book for a very long time. I'm making progress, but no one has seen it except for me. It's quiet work, slow work, but it's happening. So what have you quietly stayed committed to, even when it was very hard? And on the flip side, is there a dream or goal you put down in January that still matters to you? Could you pick it back up? Here are a few questions I've been asking myself this month. You might want to grab a pen and jot these down. What work do I do that drains me? What work energizes me? Where have I been consistent, even in small ways? What needs to be restarted, not necessarily from scratch, but from a point of strength? What am I proud of that no one knows about? This really isn't about doing more. It's about noticing the real effort. It's about recognizing the small wins and celebrating them and the internal resilience that sets you up for what is next. Let me offer a few ways to support the work behind the work, especially as you think about the next 6 months. Protect your creative time. Even if it's just 30 minutes a week, block it off and keep it sacred. Limit your input when creating. You don't need more opinions. You need space to hear your own ideas. Document your effort. This is so important. Some days you won't see results, but you can always track effort. Find one person who gets it. The work is easier to sustain when there's another person who understands your process and your why. So here's your mid-year permission slip. You're allowed to reimagine. You're allowed to recommit. You're allowed to start small. You're allowed to even start again. And if you didn't start anything in January, that's okay too. You can start right now. You don't need a new year to move forward. You just need a now, and you already have that. Sometimes the most important work we do is the quietest. It happens when no one is watching, and it's still worth doing. If this episode connected with you, I'd love to hear what you're doing and what you're working on behind the scenes. Tag me at Dustin Dumas or use the hashtag Dustin Dumas so I can hear all about what you've been doing. If you think someone else would find value in this episode, please share it. And if you have a moment, rating and reviewing the show helps others discover the podcast and join these conversations. Let's make the second half of this year count. Not just for our resumes, but for our lives, for our stories, for our growth, for the people we're becoming. I'm Dustin Dumas, and I'll see you next time. Bye.